Hello, beautiful patron. Happy Sunday from Little Rock, Arkansas. We're just finishing up Reason in the Rock 2015. Great experience. A place where I always feel very much at home. Wonderful, wonderful, lovely people. Some of the very first people to reach out to me and make me feel at home whenever I started touring on the secular circuit, now heading towards 4 years ago. So, forgive how quick this is. Forgive the lighting in the hotel room. About 30 minutes past time to check out. Have to get on the road, drive 6 hours home. But I didn't want to miss this opportunity to talk to you very quickly about happiness. Three ideas. Number one, in order to be more happy more often, we need to make sure we know our weaknesses. As I was driving back from a reception last night, I was lonely. I've been standing there for several hours with several dozen people and enjoying the conversation, and then I'd watch couples as they connected and went on their merry way. And I drove off, by myself. Think of the audacity that is required within me for me to be lonely with literally, 100 folks here through this week talking about how wonderful the work is that we're doing, thanks to your support, and how much they've enjoyed the book and how much they've enjoyed the podcast and the presentations, and then for them to go out of their way to spend hours talking to me and sharing their stories and wanting to hear my stories, wanting to know what we're doing and how we're doing it, and then to be able to drive off from there very, very lonely. And what it made me remember that I want to share with you today is that it's important for us to know our weaknesses. I have the ability, almost a superpower, if you will, to turn any good situation into a negative one. It's something that I find very easy to do. It is a weakness of mine, a character flaw. And so, in order to be more happy more often, we are content. We know that, as we talked about last time, happiness is about contentment, it's about pleasurable emotions. One way to have that happen more often is to be very aware of our weaknesses. And because I immediately remembered that this is a weakness of mine, I was able to talk to myself differently. I was able to immediately go, Jerry, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is a character flaw that you have, and you're allowing those thoughts to now carry you away from the reality. The reality of it is that you have a lot of people that love you and that you love. So, number one, know your weaknesses so that you can counter them and not be drug away by them from your places of contentment. Number two, don't underestimate the power of matter over mind, not mind over matter, but matter over mind. Oftentimes, especially as intellectuals, we attempt to solve every issue intellectually, think our way through it, and that is always part of the process. But you can't separate neurology from physiology. It's all one unit, one package, one being. So, if we carry ourselves in a more upright posture, if we lift our heads up instead of down, how is it that we know that our friends are depressed or that we can tell that something's wrong with them? Many times we see it visually by how they're carrying themselves. So we can reverse the process. We can create a positive feedback by carrying ourselves in a positive way. It seems like it's a simple trick, but the reality of it is it's part of our physiology. It's part of our nature. So we carry ourselves in a different way, and we begin to feel differently in many cases. Last but not least, back to intellectualism, back to using our minds. It really is about perspective, isn't it? It's really, really about perspective. So we catch ourselves in our weak moments, and we then straighten ourselves up. We pull ourselves back together. We focus in a different direction, both physically, and then through perspective, we focus in a different direction mentally. Perspective is awful important. Having to leave City Hall the way that I did, now when I see things on Facebook, things that City Hall is doing, things that some of my quote unquote enemies within City Hall are now doing and being accredited for, and they're receiving the popularity that I really, really enjoyed early on. Obviously, I miss that. I've already told you, I'm a very shallow person. It's easy for me to be jealous and to be distracted by such things. But when I compare their progress and their popularity within this very small sphere to what we are accomplishing, the perspective changes things. And it brings me contentment to know that the life that we are leading is not just putting up one building in one little town, but it's actually reshaping the architecture of civilization. Be brave.